Hi-ho, you guys. It's hot out. We had lightning hit our tree right just over to your, let's see, that's going to be your left, yesterday. Great big apple tree. It's about 25 or 30 feet high. Split the darn thing down the middle and half of it laid down on the ground, and I've been out here with my chainsaw all day trying to cut all that up and clean it up. And I got overheated. So I'm sitting in the shade. I got a bottle of water here. We have a filter inside. And we save these bottles and reuse them over and over again. Fill them and put them in the fridge. It's cheaper that way. Better for the environment, I suppose. Anyhow, I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can. It might be a 2-video series before it's over with, because I don't think I can keep it down to 7 or 8 minutes and keep you guys entertained. But in our Skoolie bus conversion behind me over here to an RV, our future plans are to be able to go out in the middle of nowhere, and they call it boondocking, or the government calls it dispersed camping, for up to 14 days at a time. And that's the goal, is to be able to do that for 14 days. And it means the bus has to be self-contained. We've got to be able to live off-grid for that long. Now, we're going to have 84 gallons of water inside under the bed, fresh water. If we start to run out of fresh water, we're going to have our SUV with us. And we can always run into town. Every Walmart in the country has a machine inside where we can refill a 5-gallon container for, well, under a couple bucks probably, which is great. And 3 or 4 of those will get us, you know, 4 or 5 more days camping maybe. We're not going to have a toilet, or we're going to have a toilet, but we're not going to have a black tank. We're going to have a composting toilet, so we don't have to deal with poo goo. But we are going to have gray water, the drain from the kitchen sink and the shower. I got 3. My son picked them up for me. Thanks, dude. 30-gallon plastic barrels, 90 gallons altogether. But that's our Achilles heel to this 14 days in the middle of nowhere plan. Because once these tanks get full, we got to break camp and take the bus back there into town to dump them. So I've had a lot of thought about that, and I've watched some videos out of the Burning Man Festival. Now at the Burning Man Festival, they're very, very strict about gray water, and people tend to dump it on the ground wherever you are in the world. You shouldn't do that. I think it's illegal in most places, and in any case, it's not cool. So a lot of these guys at the Burning Man Festival have built what they call Evapotrons. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, why couldn't I do something like that? Hold on, let me get something. I'll be right back. Let me have another swig of water. I don't know if I told you guys, the heat index is between 105 and 110 today, where we live. So this I got at a Salvation Army about 10 years ago for $3. Is a Fresnel lens. And these things work by taking all the sunlight that goes onto them and magnifying it down to a tiny pinpoint. Now, I don't know if there might not be a little boy anywhere in the country that hasn't used a magnifying glass to burn ants. Same process, only this is bigger. It's a big magnifying glass. And I tried to get some footage for you, but it's just too bright, the sun, and I can't see what I'm taping. I didn't get stuff in frame, but I've experimented with this Fresnel lens before, and if I get the focal point just right, it'll burn through a soda pop can in 30 seconds. It'll catch wood on fire in between 20 and 30 seconds. It really makes a hot little spot. So I think I can build an Evapotron to get rid of gray water and use it to extend our stay some so we get to that 14 days. Now either I can vent that evaporated gray water off to the atmosphere, or I'm hoping maybe I can distill it and save it for other uses. Not drinking for sure, but there are other uses for water where it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. I think it will be awful clean. It's distilled water. So, that's part one. I think I will split this up into 2 videos. In a day or two, I'll get this thing built and we'll see how it works. I'll do some experimenting. I think what I want to do is get it in the sun and see how long it takes to evaporate 5 gallons, and that way I can do some calculations. As for being able to camp in the boonies or boondocking for 14 days at a time, if you guys aren't familiar with all that and you want me to do a video and go into that whole thing in depth, I can show you where there's 450 million acres in the United States where that's legal to do, and all the wheres and wherefores and the economics and how it helps you to live, will help us anyhow to live really cheap. So if that's what you guys want, if you want me to do that video, go ahead and make a comment down in the comments. I know this was kind of a goofy video, but give me a like, a thumbs up anyhow. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff everybody asks you to do. And I'll see you next time, probably in a couple days after I get this thing built and we start doing some experimenting.